All right, let's jump right in. We're about to unpack how a really complex, mostly paper-driven financial services business completely changed the game for themselves by building one single piece of custom tech. This is a classic story of moving from total, head-spinning chaos to absolute clarity. So, let's kick things off with a question. And honestly, it's a problem a lot of us can probably relate to, even if we're not in finance. Just picture it. You've got thousands of moving pieces, in this case loans, and every single one has its own data, its own status, and different teams working on it. How on earth do you keep all of that straight?
For a lot of companies, the answer is, well, it's just a total mess. We're talking about a frantic, daily battle fought with the usual enemies, right? You've got disconnected spreadsheets that are out of date the second you save them, mountains of paperwork, and that constant nagging feeling that you never really know what's going on. This was the exact situation a growing financial services company found themselves in.
But, that kind of chaos, it's often what pushes us to make a big change. So for our first section, let's look at the custom-built solution they came up with to tame all that complexity.
This whole transformation started with a partnership. You've got LMV Financial Services on one side. That's the company with the massive operational headache. And on the other, you have Lakshitha Tech Solutions, the developers who were brought in to build the cure. Their goal was pretty simple. Digitize and, this is the important part, unify the entire operation.
So what exactly did they build? A bespoke enterprise CRM system. And that word, bespoke, that's the key. This thing was custom-tailored from the ground up. Its mission was simple in theory, but huge in practice. Connect every single part of the business. And I don't just mean sales. I mean from the very first phone call with a potential customer, all the way to cutting the final payroll checks for employees. The whole shebang.
And here it is. This is basically the blueprint for the entire system. And you can see just how ambitious it was. This wasn't just some simple tracker. It was designed with different modules for everything. User management, leads, loans, performance tracking, daily operations, and deep analytics. Every core part of the business got its own dedicated space.
Okay, so to really get a feel for the impact of this, let's do something fun. Let's follow a single loan on its journey. In this next section, we're going to trace it from a brand new inquiry all the way to a closed deal.
Every single loan starts its life as a lead. Now, before this system, a lead could just get lost in a spreadsheet or forgotten in an email chain. But now, as you can see from this flowchart, every single lead gets guided through a super clear, structured lifecycle. There's no more guesswork.
Let's just walk through it real quick. A new lead gets created in the system. A telecaller reaches out. If there's interest, the lead gets qualified. If it seems like a good fit, boom, it's converted into a formal loan application. And if not, it's marked as lost. The key thing here is that every lead has a definite outcome and a digital paper trail. Nothing falls through the crack.
And once that conversion happens, the journey is far from over. That lead is now a formal application, and it enters this whole other workflow. It moves step by step from created, through pending and review, all the way until a final decision is made. It's like a perfectly designed assembly line. And really, this quote just says it all. The whole process becomes completely seamless and transparent. At any given moment, anyone who needs to know can see exactly where a loan is in the pipeline, from the second it's created to the moment the money is sent out and the file is officially closed.
But here's the thing. Tracking loans is really just one piece of this puzzle. In Section 3, we're going to see how the true power of this system is how it supports the entire business operation.
Check out this organizational map. The system was built with a really strict data hierarchy. What does that mean? It means all 11+ job roles in the company, from a telecaller at the front lines who only sees their own leads, all the way up to the CEO, who has a bird's-eye view of everything, gets their own unique dashboard, tailored specifically to what they need to see. No more, no less. And it goes so far beyond just sales data. This system actually manages daily HR stuff too. This flowchart, for example, maps out the employee attendance process. To check in, an employee has to be within the office's virtual geofence, and when they clock in, they have to snap a quick selfie for verification.
Pretty cool, right?
It also tackles these incredibly complex financial workflows. I mean, look at this diagram. It shows the approval process for paying an outside agent's commission. It's this whole multi-step dance between the agent, the system, the finance admin, and the database, with clear paths for approval and rejection. You can just imagine what a nightmare of emails and paperwork this was before.
So you're probably wondering, how does all this actually work? In Section 4, let's take a quick peek under the hood and see what kind of technology is making all this magic happen.
So, at a high level, this is the system's architecture. You got the web app on the left. That's what the employees use every day. That app talks to the Supabase platform in the middle, which is kind of the brains of the operation. It handles all the business logic, the database, and file storage. And then that connects out to external services for things like sending emails or using maps for that geofencing we talked about.
And if we drill down a little deeper, the tech they used is super modern. On the front end, that's the part employees actually see and click on, they used React. That's what makes the interface feel incredibly fast and snappy. And on the back end, it's all powered by Supabase and PostgreSQL, which is a really powerful and rock-solid way to manage a company's data. This whole thing was built for speed, security, and the ability to grow right alongside the business.
Okay, all this tech is cool, but what did it actually achieve? What was the result? For our final section, let's look at the real payoff of all this automation.
Let's just start with the most jaw-dropping number, an 80% reduction in the time people spent on manual reporting. Just think about that for a second. Think of all those hours people used to burn just pulling numbers from different spreadsheets. All of that time was just handed back to the team so they could focus on their actual jobs.
But the payoff went way beyond that one number. Suddenly, they had real-time visibility into everything. Loan turnaround times got faster because they could spot bottlenecks instantly. The automated approvals created perfect audit trails, which is huge for compliance. And the whole thing was built on a secure foundation that could easily scale up as the company grew.
And I absolutely love this last part. It wasn't just about cold, hard efficiency. The developers actually built in these little human touches. When a loan is officially disbursed, a little confetti animation plays on the screen. There are leaderboards and banners celebrating the top-performing employees. It's a system that was designed for people, not just for process. So seeing this whole journey from absolute chaos to crystal clarity, it kind of leaves you with one final thought. It makes you look around at your own job, your own company, and ask yourself, what's that one tedious, manual, spreadsheet-driven process in your world that is just waiting for its own automation story?